From the murky waters of the sportsman's paradise, stories emerge. Stories of the generations of people who have shared in the bounties of the land. Stories of communities that have persevered through natural disasters. Stories of the abundance of fish, wildlife, and adventures that create an ecosystem rich in diversity. And from the silted banks of the mighty Mississippi to the soggy marsh bottoms, from the tops of the towering pine forest to the depths of the salty Gulf, human and animal have shared in this fortune for centuries. Enjoy these stories as told by outdoor journalists who travel across our state documenting the adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage that make us Bayou Wild.
Welcome to Bayou Wild TV. I'm Don Dubuque.
And I'm Martha Spencer.
And joining us today is Dawn Davis, the owner of Morton's Seafood Restaurant in Madisonville, Louisiana. And Dawn, I got to tell you, we are over thrilled and delighted to make this our studio set. It fits us so perfect on the banks of the Tchefuncte River in southeast Louisiana. We feel like we're home.
Well, I totally agree with you. You can't go wrong. It's a wonderful place to come to work every day, and
it's scenic.
We're really happy to have y'all here, really.
It's so scenic here, and there's so much character, and we were just saying if the walls could talk, and they really kind of do talk. Tell folks about the character of this restaurant.
Well, my uncle Morton Davis started in 1985, and with the idea of simply doing boiled seafood. He was a carpenter kind of by trade, and he saw the opportunity. He saw what was probably going to come here. So he opened up the restaurant, and I got here in 1991. And I've been here ever since. And, you know, Morton's kind of stepped out, and here we are like 33 years later. So we're all ecstatic, and we're like family here. So
how would you describe the cuisine of Morton's Seafood?
I'd say it's pretty much traditional, but there's a lot of local flavor here. We kind of like to dictate to what the audience tells us, what our guests tell us. But again, it's old New Orleans. You know, we thrive on our boiled seafood, the shrimp, Dungeness crab, Lake Pontchartrain crabs, raw oysters, a little bit of everything. A lot of grilled food we incorporated. Sometime back, maybe around 93 or 94, when people were kind of getting away from so much fried food and trying to be a little more health conscious. Right. So we do a lot more broiled, grilled, light pastas, and we've always kind of made this like a Cheers atmosphere. It's a lot of local color, like I keep repeating, but that's what it's all about. People enjoy coming here. You can go a lot of places and have a shrimp po' boy or crawfish étouffée. But it makes a difference, you know, when you get to know your server, the bartender, and all that kind of stuff. It's really like family.
And we're here on Monday, so stop by and come have lunch with us and talk a little fishing and meet Dawn.
That would be terrific. Thank y'all again for being here. It's been great.
All right, we come back, we take you down to Plaquemines Parish. We talk to Capt Ryan Lambert at Cajun Fishing Adventures, who says, if you build it, they will come. We're talking ducks next, right here on Bayou Wild TV.
Well, you know, when the ducks come down here and they're having a hard winter, everything's frozen over and their food source up north. If they come down here and we don't have the aquatics and the food source to enough food hours to supplement them, you know, they're not healthy going back. You know, it takes 1 million calories for a bird to go back up north. You know, when they get back up there, they're emaciated. And if you don't send healthy birds back, you don't get eggs. And, you know, that's why this wintering ground is so important.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish taste great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade.
And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
The 2017-2018 duck season has come and gone, and inconsistent duck numbers has left many coastal Louisiana hunters wondering, where were the birds? Captain Ryan Lambert of Cajun Fishing Adventures in Buras believes that to get ducks, it's simple. If you feed them, they will come.
You know, when the ducks come down here and they're having a hard winter, everything's frozen over and their food source up north. If they come down here and we don't have the aquatics and the food source to enough food hours to supplement them, you know, they're not healthy going back. You know, it takes 1 million calories for a bird to go back up north. You know, when they get back up there, they're emaciated. And if you don't send healthy birds back, you don't get eggs. And, you know, that's why this wintering ground is so important.
Coastal Louisiana in general is one of the most important areas in North America for waterfowl, and it winters millions of waterfowl annually. It's an incredibly important area for ducks and duck hunters, and this area is among the most important in the state. It produces lots of food for ducks, and it also provides lots of areas for waterfowl hunters to hunt.
Got him! Ryan has learned that the perfect duck food habitat comes from a perfect mix of salty Gulf water and fresh Mississippi River sediment.
It depends on your tropical storms. It's all about the salt water killing the aquatic vegetation. It can only take 7 parts per thousand salinity. So when October this year, we had east winds and southeast winds every day, 25 miles an hour, and it kept pushing and pushing. As soon as the river dropped out, that storm surge stays in here for a few days and it's gone. I mean, the vegetation was so thick you couldn't even idle your mud boat through it without choking your engine out. And within 3 or 4 days, it's all gone, just like quick.
A little further downstream at Passolute Wildlife Management Area, man-made diversions have proven to provide the essential nutrients to sustain a healthy marsh.
Essentially what we're doing is we're letting Mother Nature create wetlands as she has throughout coastal Louisiana for thousands of years. All we're doing is breaching the banks and allowing the river and that sediment-laden water to enter the ponds and drop out and build marsh naturally, just like she has throughout the entire Louisiana coast, just on a much smaller scale here.
The Passolute Crevasse Project was initiated in the mid-1980s, and in past decades, satellite images illustrate how these simple man-made cuts have increased habitat in the Mississippi River Delta.
Crevasses were something we pioneered in the 50s and 60s, and a lot of it was just looking at what Mother Nature was doing, putting those natural cuts in the banks of the river, and we learned that when those cuts happen, those breaches happen, it puts a lot of sediment into these ponds and really has a lot of benefit, a lot of duck potato, a lot of submerged aquatic vegetation that'll pop up, which is really beneficial to waterfowl and a lot of wildlife on the Delta.
This land I'm standing on now, about 30 years ago, was open water, much like you see on this sign. Here was the shoreline in 1986. This has all been accreted since then, and these crevasse projects are the gift that keeps on giving, not just to provide habitat for waterfowl, wildfowl, and fish, but also to protect our coastal communities.
Original intention, the department were building these cuts to build duck habitat, duck food for wintering waterfowl. But what we started observing was we're getting new land over time as well. As that sediment comes into those ponds, it drops out, and over time we're getting more elevation, we're getting more grass, and we're getting more wetlands that created from these crevasses.
Well, if the river's up, as soon as the tide from the storm surge goes down, it can go ahead and push that out and save the grass. But when the river goes down and you don't have that velocity of fresh water coming through, it's going to die off. And the only places you have are landlocked places, places real close to the river water, that kind of stuff where you can keep that aquatics. And aquatics is so key to you know, your coots, your gray ducks, your widgeons, something to hold them. They can come here with the cold weather, but they can't stay here. A duck will pick up and go to Arkansas in a heartbeat. You know, this evening, they could be in Arkansas. You know, they don't think like we think. They have nothing to do but look around for some food. And if that's not here enough to, you know, everybody says, well, I got good grass in my pond. You need miles and miles of vegetation to hold millions of ducks.
And it's no secret, if you improve the habitat, the wildlife will thrive.
Crevasses down here create a wide variety of wildlife benefit, and what we can do on a larger scale will be just that much more beneficial. Is that this is a project that's uniquely Louisiana. You can't go to Alabama and do this. You can't go to Mississippi and do this. This is something that was refined right here by the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries in Louisiana. This is truly a Louisiana technique. It's only going to work on a major river that has a lot of sediment, like the Mississippi River or the Atchafalaya River. It's the only place it works. But this is a Louisiana restoration technique that's extremely cost effective.
When we lose the habitat for the ducks, we also lose the habitat for the people that like to hunt ducks.
Martha, as you can see, Plaquemines Parish, a very delicate, fragile habitat there. When it's manipulated and managed properly, it can attract thousands and thousands of waterfowl and many other species there. And as you can tell, it's in danger from not only coastal erosion, but now we've got the mealybug problem with the roseau cane. It's going to be a big job, and hopefully it can be restored in the future.
Yeah, and Ryan's not just an expert in fish and ducks. He actually knows a few things about squirrel hunting as well. Coming up next, we're going to take you to Luling, where we go on our very own squirrel hunt, and it was a lot of fun. Stay tuned.
Right above you, down in that fork. He's right here in this.
Timber!
You know, you don't get those special moments like a pretty flock of ducks or nothing, but you know, if you get 2 or 3 squirrels like we did on a few trees today, and just being around the dogs, and it's a camaraderie, really. I mean, to go out here and it's like falling back in time.
If you hunt or fish, you really need to check out 20echo.com. It's an app that you can take on the water or on the hunt. It logs all the information. It's got the date, the GPS location, tons of information to log your catch or kill. It's a great thing to have. Check it out at 20echo.com and you'll see it more on Bayou Wild TV. Find out if alternative treatment is the answer to your pet's health issues. Contact Dr. G at vetnaturally.com. You saw some of the challenges we faced with the late season duck hunt, but now we're headed into the woods and we're going after some squirrel coming up.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
Welcome back to Bayou Wild. Next, we're going to take you down to Luling with Capt Ryan Lambert, who also knows a thing or two about squirrel hunting. A lot of kids start doing this very young, or for myself, my first time. It is a tremendous amount of fun, and we went with some of your friends.
Right, a couple of guys, you might call them the quintessential small game hunters. Teddy Lang, Arthur Comble, they've been hunting together since early manhood or maybe even teenagers. I met these guys and just love going out with them. They do a little bit of hog hunting. Arthur and Teddy hunt a little bit of turkey, and occasionally they hunt deer. But their thing is squirrel and rabbit. They love it. I love it. We had a great time down there with them, Capt Ryan Lambert.
And their dogs.
And their dogs. Yeah, you got to meet these dogs. Taking you now to Luling, late season squirrel hunting with dogs. Go around the backside.
On that tree right there. That one.
Whoa. Dog spot. It used to be something that I wouldn't even sleep at night the night before. I would just go like crazy, like duck hunting, you know. But we got away from it, you know. You don't have that much woods around anymore that you can hunt, you know. Just the same old story with everyone, but it's still fun to do. You know, we're gonna do it more next year, I promise you that. Coming, you know, you don't get those special moments like a pretty flock of ducks or nothing, but you know, if you get 2 or 3 squirrels like we did on a few trees today, and just being around the dogs, and it's a camaraderie, really. I mean, to go out here and it's like falling back in time.
Oh, right in the squirrel. Right in the sledge. Yeah. Nope, didn't hit him.
Down in that port. Right in the I like making a squirrel sauce because nothing tastes like a squirrel but a squirrel. And it's like duck, you know, duck is duck, and squirrel is squirrel. Rabbit, you know, you might say it tastes a little bit like frog or chicken or whatever, but squirrel is unique and it's a good thing. I like a really good sauce piquant with tomatoes and mushrooms. Oh.
If you were lucky enough to bag a few ducks this season and you're looking for something different for your waterfowl, Chef John Folse is here with us, and we're going to show you sweet tea brine duck coming up on Bayou Wild TV.
It's a good one.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time. Welcome back to Bayou Wild. Today we're with John Folse, chef here at White Oak Plantation. John, good to be out here.
Oh, man,
I don't know how I'm going to do as your assistant, but you can grade me after this and determine my pay scale on it. But if somebody's really looking to do something special with their waterfowl, tell us what's a good sample of that.
You know, I'm so glad you asked that because so often people have those 1 or 2 go-to recipes, right, like you mentioned, the poppers and things like that. And they know how to do them well, they're comfortable with them, and it gives them an opportunity to use up the freezer. Forget about that you know, game has to be cooked one way. No, right, game can be cooked the way we in restaurants or the way I like to do at home. And this dish right here is a perfect example of it, because whether you have speckled belly goose or whether you have any duck species, you got good, great mallard, teal, of course, I like to pot roast, and I love my little teal. So I have my favorites. But on, say, a mallard, which is a perfect dish for this, or like I say, breast of speckled belly would be good as well.
Oh, gray duck. That's a common bird, too.
Gray as well. So what I like to do in this particular case with these duck breasts is to brine them. And brine will not only add moisture, but it'll add flavor to the dish. People are confused about brines. Well, let me tell you how simple a brine is. We're going to use, why don't you take this and pour about 2 cups in there. That's sweet tea, just like you're going to drink out in the yard or at lunch today, and that's plenty right there. That's sweet tea. Tea has an acidic base to it. It's got flavor. It's got sugar in it. You're going to sweeten it up a little bit more. Now, to make a brine, you need salt. And people think, oh my God, that's way too much salt. But the salt is just going to interact with that meat just a little bit to flavor it up. So you go ahead and stir that.
That's a process called osmosis.
Osmosis,
See, I
that's
know
exactly.
a few things.
I'll tell you what, you really impressed me with that, because that's exactly what it is. So salt and sugar, the 2 things that you really need to just interact flavor into the game. Now, here we're going to put, you can use a little honey, you can use a little cane syrup, which I'm going to use. I'm putting a little honey in there.
Put a little more of that honey in there. I like it sweet.
But what I really want our viewers to know is that you can make these things just with common elements around the house, and what you've created here is a flavor base, that's all. Now people will say, oh, look how much salt he put in there, look how much sugar. Remember, y'all, you're not going to have that flavor going into the duck. It's just going to slowly, and I'm just using a domestic duck here, but you can use any, as you mentioned, whether it's gray or whatever it is. You're going to put it in here. Now I like to put it in a plastic bag, just kind of seal it, throw it in the refrigerator. You can leave it in that brine as little as 3 to 4 hours, or you can leave it overnight if you want to. You're going to rinse it off nicely the next morning, and here it is. Start to pick up. You can see the change in the flavor. I'm going to put a little salt on here, a little salt, pepper, granulated garlic, just as I would anything else, and I'm going to rub it really good in there. Now a little oil in my skillet, and the key is to make sure that I caramelize that skin. Now I know a lot of times a lot of these hunters will pull that skin off, you know, but let me tell you what, don't do that. That's where a lot of the natural flavor is. Now the brine is going all the way through. The meat is totally flavored at this point. I can add just a little more of a touch of that pepper on this side, a little more garlic, and I don't want to rush this. I would just kind of let it go. I want the skin to crisp up nicely, and I would let it just simmer here. I can go into a 350-degree oven in a minute and let it sit. I'll put a thermometer in it, get it up to about 135 or 140. 135, you're still going to have that pink inside to it. And then the only thing I'm going to do with this now is to make a little dressing to go on top of the salad after.
Well, this is a good place to take a little break, and we're going to come back with the chef and show you how you can be a gourmet duck hunter right here on Bayou Wild.
And using the ducks that's in that freezer.
You got it. Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because the flavor is so good.
Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil has more garlic, onion, paprika, lemon, and not too much salt.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Closed captioning made possible by Ceto.com. Become a member. Welcome back. We're with Chef John Folse today, and he's showing us how to prepare ducks or other waterfowl as sweet tea brine duck. And John, pick up where we left off.
Well, first of all, I want everybody to see what this looks like once it comes out of that brine. And by the way, you know, we have our recipes on our website too. You can go to jfolse.com or just type in John Folse. We kind of
well, they're taping this too. They're DVRing this. They got it. They got it.
Okay, good. So here we are. So the skin's going to be nice and crispy. And I just want to make sure at this point, I'm going to be honest, I like duck about medium rare. A lot of people kind of stay away from that and they want it cooked all the way. That's fine. The brine is going to add additional moisture, which makes the well-done duck taste so much better as well. So, like I said, I would go into the oven with. Now, let's make a little salad dressing real fast. Sorry. Give me that egg yolk right there. You can dump it right in. And you can just, that's all I need. And then a little red wine vinegar. We make it a little, just a little vinaigrette. That little orange juice right there. And again, you don't have, you know, we making this little Creole mustard, but my guys, all the salad dressings in the store, you can go into the store and find some interesting thing that's going to be just great with this. Now, I want to put in my basil and thyme, my little onion, my garlic. You see, we're still staying with a little Cajun cooking here. You see that?
How much of that?
Dump it all.
Oh, let's go with it.
Dump it all in there.
You got any more? That's some flavor there. That's some good Cajun stuff.
Now you have a little cane syrup right next to, on the bottom right there. You can put that in. Again, we're going to put the cane syrup in. We put some sweet.
Ooh, that looks like steams. Huh?
Now you're going to put half of that olive oil and half of that. And again, all of these recipes are really easy. Most cookbook, there's plenty. And about half of that. It's going to be good. That's perfect. And then you have a really great vinaigrette as well. And that's going to go over the duck on the salad. Now, one thing I want to tell the viewers, if you think of a ham, when you cut it open raw, it's going to be red on the inside. When you brine that ham, or when you go to the store to buy sliced ham, it's got that nice pink look to it. Well, it's not raw. Brining cooks the meat totally, but keeps that pink, juicy flavor on the inside. That's the purpose of the brine. So when we look at our duck, it's going to look like kind of medium rare or rare, but it's not. It's cured all the way through. And I have some right here.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, I want you to take a look at what this looks like. Now, we've taken the duck and made a beautiful salad with it. You can put a little dirty rice under this. You can put a little pasta on it if you want to. It doesn't really matter. You know, just let your preference be your guide there. And I'll take a little bit of this dressing. Just kind of
we almost there. We almost there.
Drizzle over that duck like that. And, of course, on the salad itself.
Perfect.
Now you see, you might want to take a piece of that duck.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
But fully cooked, beautiful, different presentation on game, and just get out of those humdrum recipes and start looking at some of these. These are really good ways to produce duck.
You will be impressing your hunting buddies, trust me. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
We'll be back with more. You're watching Bayou Wild TV. Here's how I guarantee my crawfish taste great every time. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because the flavor is so good.
It has more garlic, onion, paprika, lemon, and not too much salt.
It has much better flavor.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade.
And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of Bayou Wild TV. You can also check us out on social media as well. We have an Instagram page, we have a Facebook page, and of course we post all of our episodes to our YouTube channel, Bayou Wild TV. You can get full-length episodes listed there. And coming up next week, we're going to take you down to Crawfish Haven. Some great stuff down there.
Wonderful place. Barry Toops was our host. Went down there. We're going to demonstrate some high-tech seafood boiling. You got to sample my crawfish. Were they okay?
They were great, but not only did we cook some crawfish, we harvested them ourselves, and that made it really good. You don't want to miss it.
And if you want to come visit us while we're taping, we're at Morton's Seafood on the banks of Tchefuncte River in Madisonville, Louisiana. We're here on Mondays. Come on by, have lunch, and talk a little fishing and hunting with us.
Thanks for joining us on Bayou Wild TV.